You know those moments where you think, this is going to be the one that fixes everything? That's where my head was at. 6 hours behind the wheel. 1 podcast. 2 gas station coffees. 3 rehearsals of what I was going to say when I handed over the envelope. I wasn't driving across the state for nothing. I had something from my dad, Bill, that I knew he would never expect and would never forget. Courtside tickets to Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Lakers vs. Celtics. If you know my dad, you know what that means. The Lakers weren't just his favorite team. They were his religion. He cried when Kobe dropped 60 in his final game. He framed an autographed Shaq jersey above the TV. This man treated the Staples Center like it was a cathedral. And for once, I had the power to give something back. Growing up, I was always the one trying to be seen. The quieter son. The good kid, who didn't stir the pot. My brother Brandon was the golden boy. Athletic, outgoing, the loudest laugh in every room. Dad lit up around him. With me? I felt like background music. That didn't mean I stopped trying. I just learned to show up without expecting much. Father's Day cards. Birthday texts. I bought my dad a bottle of his favorite bourbon last year. He never even opened it. So when I finally got this promotion, started making real money, and saw those finals tickets go on pre-sale, I bought them. 2 seats. Center court. $4,300, before taxes. And I told myself, this is it. This is the gesture that's going to mean something. When I walked into the steakhouse, he was already there. Sitting at a foretop with Uncle Ray, his older brother. Laughing over whiskey. It was supposed to be just us, but whatever. I could adjust. Aaron! He said, standing up and giving me a quick half-hug. Look who showed up, Ray! I smiled, slid into the open seat, and kept my nerves in check. The envelope was still in my jacket. We made small talk. I asked about work. He still manages a few warehouses. He asked about the drive. Not once did he ask why I made the drive. I waited for the right moment. Then, just before the food came, I pulled out the envelope. Happy birthday, Dad. He raised an eyebrow, smiled. Oh, this better not be another watch. He laughed like it was a joke, but he meant it. He opened the envelope. 2 printed tickets. He stared at them for a second. His smile froze. Courtside? He said. I nodded. Game 4. You and me. I cleared the weekend, booked the flights. I even got us a hotel near the arena. Uncle Ray let out a low whistle. Damn, Marin. That's something else. I waited for it, the big moment. The kind of hug you get when your dad realizes you're seeing him. But it never came. Instead, he set the envelope down and said, Wow. That's generous. Then turned to Ray. Hey, you remember that game in '89? Magic vs. Bird? They started reminiscing like I hadn't just dropped $4,000. Like it was nothing. Like I was nothing. I sat there through dinner, nodding along, eating steak I couldn't taste. I told myself he just didn't know how to express emotion. That the reaction would come later. Spoiler, it didn't. Not at dinner. Not in the parking lot when we said goodbye. Not in the 2 days after, when I waited for a follow-up call or a text. Instead, I got a photo on Monday from my cousin. My dad and Brandon. At the game. Courtside. My ticket. I stared at that photo for a full minute before my brain could even process it. My dad. My brother Brandon. Sitting in my seat. Front row. Courtside. Smiling. The same tickets I bought. The same ones I drove 6 hours to deliver, with hotel reservations, an entire weekend carved out just for the 2 of us. Gone. Just like that. No explanation. No heads up. Not even a, hey, plans changed. Just a casual photo posted on Facebook with the caption, bucket list moment with my boy. That's what shattered me. Not just the fact that he gave my ticket away, but that I wasn't even worth a mention. He didn't text me. Didn't thank me again. Didn't say anything. If my cousin hadn't sent the photo, I'd still be sitting there wondering if Dad was excited, if he was looking forward to the trip, if I'd finally done something that mattered. Nope. I was invisible. Again. I called him. Straight to voicemail. I texted. Hey, got a picture from the game. Want to talk? Nothing. It wasn't until 2 days later that he responded. One line. Let's not make this a thing. That was it. Let's not make this a thing. I laughed out loud. The kind of bitter, tired laugh that only comes when you're too hurt to cry and too angry to keep swallowing it. So I called again. This time, he picked up. Aaron, he said like I'd just woken him from a nap. What's going on? I didn't even bother with small talk. You gave my ticket to Brandon. He sighed. Look, it's not that deep. Brandon just happened to be free. He was already in town. It made sense. I was free. I cleared my schedule. I booked a hotel. I bought those seats for us, Dad. And I appreciate that. I do. But his voice didn't sound appreciative. It sounded annoyed. Like I was making a fuss over something small. I thought you wanted me to enjoy the game, he said. I wanted to share it with you. He didn't respond to that. Just silence. So I said it. You gave away a $4,000 experience like it was a spare movie ticket. Without even telling me. And that's when he hit me with the line that sealed it. You're overreacting. Don't be so sensitive. It's just a game. That's the thing about people like my dad. They don't break you with shouting. They break you with indifference. They act like your pain is inconvenient. Your efforts are dramatic. Like your presence is optional. I didn't yell. I just said, you made your choice. And I hung up. That was the first time in my life I ended a call with him before he could. The fallout didn't come right away. Not from him. But a week later my mom, Janice, called. We're not close. Divorce has changed a lot. She lives 2 states away, remarried, and usually stays out of things. But this time? She was pissed. I can't believe what he did. She said before I even said hello. He told me it wasn't a big deal. That you'd understand. I asked if she talked to Brandon. She snorted. Brandon didn't even ask about the tickets. Your dad offered them. Said something about it being easier this way. Easier. That word again. Easier to give the best moment to the kid he always picked first. Easier to assume I'd be fine. Easier to cut me out of my plans than to deal with my disappointment. Later that night, I opened the email receipt from the ticket vendor. $4,312.75. Section 1. Row A. Seats 3 and 4. Transferred. No refund. No unused balance. No apology. Just a reminder that my love and my money had been rerouted to someone more convenient. I sat with it for a few days. Not the money. I could survive the hit. It was the message. That I could do something big, something thoughtful, something rare, and still be the invisible son. The one they always expected to just understand. I didn't want to explode. I didn't want to burn bridges. But I needed to talk to Brandon. I needed to know what he knew. What he thought. If he even cared. I called him. He picked up with his usual half-laugh, half-sigh greeting. Yo, Aaron. What's up? You got a minute? Sure. What's going on? I got straight to it. The Lakers game. Those were my tickets. I bought them for Dad. For his birthday. I had the whole weekend booked. Flights, hotel. The whole thing. Silence. Then, wait, seriously? Seriously. I surprised him at dinner. Gave him the envelope. And he gave the tickets to you. More silence. Then he laughed. Damn, I didn't know all that. So you didn't know they were mine? Nah, he just said he had an extra seat. Told me to keep Friday open. I figured he got them through work, or something. That made my stomach twist. Because, of course, he'd assume that. Of course, Dad didn't mention me. I took a breath. And when you found out it was courtside? I mean, yeah? I was hyped. But I didn't question it. Why would I? That hit me harder than I expected. Why would he? Why would the golden child ever question anything being handed to him? I tried to keep my voice calm. I get that. But once you found out they were mine, why didn't you say anything? He paused. Then gave me the answer I always get. Look, man. You know how Dad is. That line. That infuriating line. The one they've all used since we were kids. When Dad forget my science fair. You know how Dad is. When he skipped my graduation dinner? You know how Dad is. When he joked that I was the backup son at Christmas in front of 15 people? You know how Dad is. Like that made it okay. Like his patterns were baked in, and it was on me to adjust. Yeah, I said. I do know how he is. And I'm finally tired of pretending that's normal. Brandon stayed quiet. Not guilty. Just uncomfortable. And then he said the most honest thing he's probably ever said to me. I guess I've never had to think about it. He's always just included me. There it was. Not said cruelly. Not weaponized. Just stated. He didn't have to think about it. Because when you're included, you don't see who's being left out. We ended the call on a weird note. Not angry. Not resolved. Just disconnected. And for once, I didn't rush to fix it. That night, I got an email from Mr. Sanders, my manager. I'd mentioned the ticket drama in passing during a check-in. He wrote, "Family can be a tough pill. Just remember, being undervalued at home doesn't mean you're worth less out here." That meant more than it probably should have. But when you grow up second string in your own house, does any coach notice you? Feels like oxygen. I sat on my balcony, whiskey in hand, ticket receipt open on my phone. And I finally deleted it. Not because I was over it. But because I needed to let go of the proof, and sit with the pattern. This wasn't about basketball. This was about a father who didn't see me, and a brother who never had to notice. And me? I was done waiting for either of them to. I didn't announce anything. No dramatic texts. No Facebook posts. No. I need space. Speeches. I just started saying no. No to the weekend cookout. No to the group chat replies. No to the birthday dinner I wasn't even invited to until the morning of. It started small. Quiet. But with people like my dad, Bill, even silence is a rebellion. A week after the Brandon call, I turned down a family gathering. It wasn't revenge, it was recovery. I needed room to breathe. To stop performing. To stop hoping that this time, maybe, they'd remember I existed before the group photo. But the reaction? Immediate. My mom, Janice, was first. "Why are you acting like this? You're going to regret distancing yourself from family." I told her I just needed space. She told me I was being selfish. Then came Brandon. "Come on, man. Don't make this weird. It was just a game." I didn't respond. Because it was never just about the game. It was about a lifetime of being treated like a second option, and then being told to be grateful for the leftovers. Then Dad called. "Aaron. Enough." That's how he opened. Not, "How are you?" Not, "Can we talk?" Just a command. "What are you even trying to prove?" I let the question hang for a second. Then I said, "I'm not proving anything. I'm just done pretending everything's fine when it never has been." He huffed. "This again?" "Yes," I said. "Because I bought you something big, something personal, and you gave it away like it meant nothing. I didn't mean anything by it." He snapped. Brandon was already there. It was easier. There's that word again. Easier. That's what I'd always been, the easy one. The one who didn't ask. The one who understood. The one who didn't complain when he was forgotten. So I said the truth, as plainly as I could. "I'm not angry because you gave Brandon the tickets. I'm angry because you gave away the one thing I thought might finally connect us, and you didn't even look back." He didn't respond. And that silence? That was my closure. We ended the call, and I stood in my kitchen staring at the calendar on my fridge. 3 upcoming events are circled in red. Dad's birthday dinner. Brandon's son's baptism. Thanksgiving. I erased all 3. Not as a punishment. Just as a release. Because I wasn't going to keep pouring myself into people who didn't notice when I left the room. Funny thing is, the more I stepped back, the more my life expanded. I reconnected with old friends. Took a weekend trip I'd postponed for years. Had long dinners with people who asked questions and listened to the answers. I stopped waiting for my family to be proud of me. And I started being proud of myself. One night I got a text from Mr. Sanders, my manager. Big project coming down, and I want you on it. 10 minutes later, I got another from my dad. You around? I need help moving something. I looked at both messages. And for the first time, I chose the one that chose me. Have you ever noticed how quiet people get when you stop doing the things they never thanked you for? It's like they suddenly realize how much you were holding up. But instead of saying thank you, they say you've changed. That's what was happening now. Not just with my dad, Bill. Not just with my brother, Brandon. With the whole orbit of people who were used to me being small, so they could feel centered. And the moment I stepped out of the old version of myself, they didn't know where to look. I didn't ghost anyone. I just stopped reaching first. Stopped filling in the silence. Stopped RSVPing to things I was never really invited to, just expected to show up for. My cousin's wedding? No reply. My uncle's 60th? I let the invite expire. Brandon's kid's birthday? I sent a gift card. Nothing else. And I started doing things for myself. I joined a boxing gym. Not for the body, for the release. I upgraded my apartment, not because I needed space, but because I finally wanted it. I took my damn weekend trip to LA, solo. The Lakers weren't even playing. I just wanted to see the city without anyone asking me to split the bill. And it felt good. Not flashy. Not loud. Just right. A friend of mine, Derek, the kind of friend who doesn't ask, "Where have you been?" but instead says, "Glad you're here," invited me over for dinner. Small group. Nothing formal. We sat around, talking about life and parents, and all the weird ways we carried the weight of what we weren't given. At one point he said, "You know, sometimes the best revenge isn't cutting people off. It's outgrowing the version of you they thought would never leave." That hit me in the chest. Because that's what I'd done. Not with rage. Not with drama. Just with distance. With peace. With choice. A few weeks later, I got a voicemail from my dad. No greeting. Just, "You haven't been around. Guess you're busy. Hope you're not holding a grudge." It wasn't even curiosity. It was that old, familiar tone, like I was the one making it hard, just because I stopped accepting the bare minimum. I didn't call back. Because I'm not holding a grudge. I'm holding myself. And for once, that's heavy enough. Then came Thanksgiving. I used to be the guy who drove 4 hours, brought the wine, carved the turkey, played mediator between family arguments, cleaned up before dessert, and left with no leftovers. This year, I went to a friend's giving. Sat next to someone who'd just gotten out of a bad breakup. Across from someone who hadn't spoken to her dad in years. Next to someone who said, "I don't do family holidays anymore, just chosen family." We laughed until midnight. Played music. Ate dessert first. Took photos where everyone looked real and a little tired and incredibly present. And I thought, this is it. This is what family feels like when you don't have to earn your seat. I didn't post anything. Didn't brag. Didn't subtweet. Didn't send a guilt trip photo to anyone who forgot me. I just lived. And the more I did, the less I miss people who only ever noticed me when I was gone. It came on a random Wednesday. I was cleaning out old emails, junk, newsletters I never read, shipping notifications from things I forgot I ordered, when I saw one that stopped me. Subject: "Hey, if this is weird, ignore me." The name? Claire Miller. I paused. I hadn't heard that name in years. We weren't close. Just someone I used to work with at my first tech job. We followed each other on LinkedIn, exchanged the occasional "congrats" on job updates. But that was it. Until now. I opened the email. "Hey Aaron. This is super random, and if it's out of line, just pretend it never happened. I saw your comment on someone's post the other day, and it reminded me of something I never said back then, but probably should've. Back when we worked together, I remember you taking that call in the break room. You looked completely wrecked, but you still went back to your desk like nothing happened. I found out later you had just driven across the state to do something for your dad and, well, I won't repeat what I heard happened. But I remember thinking, that's someone who gives way more than he gets. You didn't ask for anyone to notice. But I did. I'm really glad to see you thriving now. You deserve every ounce of peace you're finding, Claire. I read it twice. Then a third time. Then I just sat there, elbows on the kitchen counter, staring out the window with my jaw clenched and something stuck in my throat I hadn't felt in months. Not pain. Relief. She noticed. Someone saw it. All those times I swallowed hurt and kept going, not out of strength, but because I didn't know what else to do. Someone saw the cracks. And didn't use them to judge me. Didn't weaponize them. Just acknowledge them. It sounds small. But if you've ever gone your whole life wondering if maybe you were the problem, getting that kind of message? It feels like breathing underwater. I didn't write back right away. I didn't know what to say. But a few days later, I sent her this. Hey Claire. That wasn't weird. That was probably one of the kindest things anyone's said to me in years. Thank you for seeing me. Really. That moment didn't fix everything. It didn't rewrite my past. Didn't erase the times I was forgotten. Didn't refund the ticket or give me back the trip I planned with my dad. But it did give me something else. Proof that I wasn't crazy. That I wasn't just sensitive. That I wasn't making it all up. Sometimes you get so used to being invisible that when someone looks directly at you, really sees you, it's almost disorienting. But I let myself feel it. Let me take the win. Let myself believe it. And I started thinking. What if the people who've hurt me don't owe me an apology? What if they're just incapable of giving what I've spent my whole life needing? What if the best thing I can do is stop asking for it? Since then, I've stopped trying to get closure from the people who broke me. I've started building it myself. Not in speeches or letters or big declarations, but in the everyday decisions to choose peace over proximity, self-worth over performance, healing over history. And the crazy part? The less I chase validation from people who never gave it, the more it finds me, from places I never expected. There was no grand final straw. No screaming match. No ultimatums. No dramatic group text saying, I'm done with all of you. I just stopped showing up. Not out of spite. Not out of bitterness. Just because I realized I didn't have to anymore. I haven't spoken to Bill in 3 months. Not since the call where I told him exactly how I felt, and he didn't say a word in return. No apology. No attempt to understand. Just silence. Which, honestly, it was the most honest thing he's ever given me. Because silence is still a choice. And he made his. Brandon texted me once since then. Just a casual. Hope you're doing good, bro. No mention of the game. No acknowledgement of how deep that cut went. Just a surface-level ping from someone who's never had to think about being second. I didn't respond. Not out of anger. But because I've stopped translating my silence for people who never cared to listen in the first place. My mom, Janice, still calls. Not often. Sometimes I answer. Sometimes I don't. She still doesn't get it. She wants peace, but skips the accountability part. And I'm not interested in building a bridge over a fault line. I've started celebrating things differently now. Quiet dinners with people who fill the room with warmth, not weight. Trips are planned with zero pressure. Birthdays where I buy myself something I actually want. I don't need to be the backup anymore. The afterthought? The one who understands while no one else does. I've stopped trying to be what they needed and started being what I do. I still have a photo of those tickets. Not the one my dad posted, the one I took right before I gave them to him. 2 printed sheets. Perfect seats. Years of hope folded into a birthday envelope. I don't look at it to feel bitter. I look at it to remind myself of who I used to be. Someone who begged to be chosen. I don't beg anymore. If you're in the middle of that same story, the one where you keep showing up and getting crumbs, let me say this. You're not hard to love. You're just loving people who only understand convenience. And you deserve better. You don't need to announce your exit. You don't need to burn the bridge. You just need to stop crossing it for people who never learned how to meet you halfway.